Hello guys and welcome back to a brand new series. In this series we're going to be talking about recent football performances from the last weekend. I'm here with SJGames today and he's the one I'm going to be doing the series with.
How's it going, guys?
And today we're going to be talking about Chelsea's recent performance away at Stoke. I've got my opinion. Steve, have you got yours?
I have.
Let's talk football. So, kicking off proceedings here, Steve, how do you think Chelsea played overall?
It's better performance than in recent weeks, to be honest. Looked more composed on the ball, willing to pass it around. Fabregas key in midfield. Looked like there was real togetherness in the camp. Looked like they were actually playing for Mourinho, which they haven't been in recent weeks. Despite Mourinho not being there for his ban, looked like they really pulled on the shirt for him. What do you think the same?
I think the same, yeah. I mean, it's a difficult one because obviously they won the league in great style last year and they've not had a good Champions League campaign. They've not been doing well in the FA Cup, obviously, or the League Cup. And I just feel like world-class players which won the Premier League last year in that style, they should be doing much better, much better.
They're definitely not earning their wages at the moment, are they?
They're not, no. And I think talk about getting rid of Mourinho is ridiculous, really, because there's no manager as an upgrade so far. And what are they going to be able to do up until January anyway to get rid of the players who aren't performing?
Well, yeah, going on from that, if Chelsea were to replace him, they would want a top manager.
They would, yeah.
How would a top manager manage a team in 15th position in the league?
Exactly. Yeah, I don't really understand it, to be honest, because obviously Brendan Rodgers is in for a shout, as you said in your previous video, and Gus Hiddink, managers like that, and they've been off top for quite a while now. I know Brendan Rodgers was the manager at Liverpool, but he's done a subpar performance. Obviously, that's why he was sacked, and I think he's not in a position where he's got the reputation anymore to manage someone like Chelsea.
I highly agree. Getting back to the topic at hand, Chelsea, I think they had about 67% possession, which showed they were more willing to control the game.
It was something like that, yeah.
They had 19 shots, only 4 on target. That's where the composure's lacking.
I think it is, yeah, and I think it's an argument to be made about lack of support up front, in all honesty, to be honest.
Well, if you saw the analysis on Match of the Day, you would have seen Alan Shearer talking about Diego Costa.
He was slating Diego Costa, yeah. He was saying that he was running towards the ball on the wing, whereas he should be running straight in the box, giving him a target man to aim for. But as you can see, with the 4 on target from the 19 shots, it's definitely not what you want to see. And you could tell that most of those shots would have been towards the end of the game as they were chasing the game.
In desperation.
And exactly, yeah. And I think they should have just, played patiently. For anyone who watched the game, they should have played patiently and just waited for the chance to come. But obviously that wasn't going to happen because Costa was coming out wide and just, not making chances at all.
On Costa, I think he is one of those players in the Chelsea lineup who's taken his place for granted. You've got Falcao, you've got Remy, young players like Kennedy.
Yeah, and building on from that, I think, as they said on Match Today, when Remy came on, instantly made an impact.
Willing to turn.
He was,
not just pass backwards.
And play off the last defender, which, because Stoke defenders are so tall, they're not very agile or quick. So having someone like Remy who's rapid and, going to cause them problems and not having making them face away from, making them face their own goal by running that way, I think that, 10 minutes from the end he came on, he should have been starting.
Well, you mentioned like Remy. There's been much debate in the media, Match of the Day, TalkSport even, about whether it was a foul on like Remy when he went round the keeper. What do you think about that?
Being an ex-keeper myself, I think that a lot of goalkeepers get a lot of the decisions their way, and he did impede him, I feel. I think it's a split decision. The referee's going to get penalised whether he was going to give the penalty or whether he wasn't going to give the penalty.
Well, in my opinion, I think if you're going to give that, you're going to be giving 3 or 4 penalties a game.
You are, yeah.
Just for an example, if a winger comes in from the wing in the penalty box, left back dives in, winger jumps over challenge, is that a penalty?
Exactly. There's a strong case to be made for that. I think that with Alan Shearer saying that, I think that being a striker, he's going to be looking for that. It's not realistic to be given those sort of penalties anymore.
You must credit like Remy for wanting to try and stay on his feet.
You do, yeah.
It's a real footballer who does that.
You do, yep. But you can tell from Alan Shearer saying he should have just dived, obviously taken a...
No one wants to say that, do they?
You don't know. And they're just completely penalising the referee, saying like that he should have given the penalty. And thinking about it, I don't think he should have. And And it was a correct decision in the end, and Remy did well to stay on his feet, to be fair to him. But, yeah, how do you think Stoke played in defence?
Oh, everyone's talking about Chelsea, but full credit to Stoke.
Yeah.
Ryan Shawcross, not everyone's cup of tea, in all honesty, but I think he dealt with Diego Costa very well. Admittedly saying that, he probably should have been sent off.
He should have, yeah. And I think that, yeah, he's not everyone's cup of tea. And the way he defends...
He's a top defender.
He is a top defender. And he played Costa's antics with him perfectly. And it wound up losing Chelsea the game. And just because Costa was more interested in messing around with Shawcross and trying to tell him he smells and stuff, which is a bit pathetic, really.
It's a very good point.
Yeah.
Costa needs to switch on. It's not a time to be distracted. He needs to be in the game, which, to be honest, he wasn't on Saturday.
He really wasn't. You know, he's stamping on Stewards' foot. You know, it's going to get... Wow. That's what's going to be in the media, not how well Stoke played, and it's a shame, really.
Well, on the goal, I think it was a very good finish from Marko Arnautovic.
Oh, great finish, yeah. I mean, he didn't have a good time at Inter Milan, and then he made his mark in the Bundesliga at Werder Bremen, and that's why Stoke signed him. He's been unable to make his mark so far in the Premier League, but I think with that goal, hopefully he'll get a bit of confidence and just, you know, build on from there.
So just a little bit about Chelsea. Do you see them improving in the league?
With the way they're playing at the minute, no. And that's purely because of all the big players taking for granted their place in the team. And I think that they should all be, you know, be pushed in training to say, Mourinho saying to them, if you're not willing to play, then I'm not going to play you. And Liverpool played Chelsea in the under-21s, I do believe, on Sunday. And Chelsea smashed them 4-0. Now, you've got to argue, they're the under-21, so that's the sort of age you want to be pushing them into the starting 11.
They've got an England midfielder, Ruben Loftus-Cheek.
Yes.
With Matic and Fabregas not performing, why isn't Ruben Loftus-Cheek getting a chance?
I don't understand. He scored a great goal as well, and he was in the Champions League a little bit for Chelsea last year, you know. And if Mourinho's willing to play him in the Champions League, why can't he play him in the Premier League?
Well, if you just look back over recent years, can you name a young player that's come through the ranks at Chelsea? Off the top of my head, I can't think of anyone.
You really can't know, and that's a shame as
well. We're going back to John Terry, I think.
Yeah, I think you are, and being one of the biggest clubs in the world, in all honesty, and you'd want them to be producing players. If they can't produce players, who are we looking at? Getting players for our future for England.
I think this is a brilliant representation, Chelsea's form of money can't buy everything, because they've got players on hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pounds a week, and they're 15th in the Premier League. I mean,
it's ridiculous. If it took them a while to get started with the Abramovich, with all the money coming in, but they eventually got it going, and now I think maybe this is where the money stops being the big factor in their gameplay. What do you think?
Well, I think it's time they look to the youth. I mean, if you think about it, they can't do much worse than they are at the moment.
I don't think you can, and that's what I think as well. With Chelsea pretty much guaranteed losses every week now, and that's a shame. I think there's no harm in putting the youth players in. You know, they're going to get lost anyway. Why not get experience with them?
Even in the position Chelsea are, I think they've got one player playing to his maximum potential in Willian. I think Willian has been not maybe like the name that comes straight to you.
It's not, no. And there was a lot of big debate about who he was going to go to in the end. He went to Chelsea. You know, everyone thought it was a stupid decision instead of going to Liverpool. But he went to Chelsea, and now it's starting to come through why he wants to play for Chelsea. He won him the game in the midweek in the Champions League, and he's been the only one that's been consistent recently.
So if we were going to end this video, I've got two questions for you. I want one word answer, yes or no for both.
Okay.
Does Mourinho stay?
Yes.
If Mourinho was to go, and I want a name here,
okay,
who replaces him?
Well, apart from the obvious person, which is me, I'm not too sure. I think Brendan Rodgers, he's got experience there. I know you asked for a one-word answer, but I'm giving you more. Brendan Rodgers, he's had experience there, and he'd be the ideal candidate. But, yeah, what do you think?
Well, I probably have to disagree with you there. I think the man that... I don't want Mourinho to go, but I think it's looking more... Week after week, I think he's getting closer to the axe. I'd probably go with Gus Hiddink. He was only at Chelsea for about 6 months in his first spell, but he became a real fan's favourite at the club. They wanted him to stay on, but his commitments to the Russian national team meant he wasn't able to stay on, and they suffered the next season because of that.
They did, yeah, they did. So this is going to wrap up the video for today. If you're listening on the podcast, thanks very much for listening. Give us a rate, and if you're listening on the video on YouTube, also subscribe, like and comment.
Obviously, if we can do anything better, just let us know.
The next video is going to be on SJGames' channel, so make sure you check it out.
But for now, that's the end of the podcast. We'll see you again very soon.
Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.